Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Krista here to do the weekly reading for the sign of Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. You can always look at your Moon and Rising sign readings in addition to your Sun sign reading for added clarity for the week, or in case your Sun sign reading isn't resonating with you for any reason. This is for the week of October 10th through October 17th. Going to stick to a focus on healing for this week in addition to last week, and we'll be using the Healing with the Angels Oracle for our main spread today, and then as always drawing additional message cards from the other decks, this week being the Wisdom of the Oracle and the Medicine cards. This is a general reading for your sign. Whatever is most prominent in your life this week, Cancer, I encourage you to take these messages and apply them to, and hopefully you find them helpful and healing. So, what does Cancer need to know about healing this week? Interesting. Okay. So as always, I'm just going to get a little bit of a snapshot of what's going on, generally speaking, with all of these energies together before reading them separately. This is going to be a very expressive week for you, Cancer, is the first thing I'm seeing. Very expressive, very interested in beauty, and beauty means truth. That sounds weird. Beauty is truth. Truth is beauty. Beauty is a mathematics, and it can be quantified. So this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about an actual structure of truth, okay? It's not an opinion. It's not an idea or a concept. These are, basic, fundamental meta-truths that you're not only aware of, but that you are practicing. So it's probably going to unnerve some people in your vicinity, just because that's what truth does. Truth tends to, it tends to upset people, and particularly if this is through the arts, okay? If you find yourself doing this artistically, and of course, the arts includes any way that you express yourself uniquely, right? This doesn't have to be you making a painting per se. It just means the way that you provide information or that you relate to other people. This is unique to you, and this is a creative output. So the way that you're expressing these meta-truths is probably going to enact some friction. But again, it's less about you as, an individual, and more about the fact that the truth is, the truth as a meta-truth, as a mathematic, is rather unnerving, okay? It's why the phrase, the truth hurts. It's why that still is a part of our lexicon, okay? Because it's a matter of fact. The truth can hurt people. But ultimately what truth does, and what beauty does, and what mathematics allows is fundamental understanding and a fundamental appreciation. And it also keeps us centered, okay? There is this centering. We're not swayed by opinions now. We're not controlled by, I call it the machine, right? But this, the concept of truth being the machine, and then the actual truth. You're not caught up in that. You see something for what it is, and it's giving you a lot of, or it's allowing you a lot of peace. And this is natural. This is natural when you find and you exhibit and you allow to be led by truth. This is absolutely to be expected, okay? There's a sense of relief involved here. So this could very well be a huge part of your week. There's a lot of energy though, a lot of expressive and winding and unwinding going on here. Friendships will be made or broken this week, at least one, and a sense of sensuality, a sense of creative expression, and ultimately meta-truths. So this looks like a beautiful, very exhilarating week for you, Cancer. Let's look at these one by one. So of course we have romance here in the central position. This represents you this week. Now, I always read this as though you don't have to be partnered, okay, to experience romance or sensuality in your life. But let's begin there. Let's assume that my Cancerians watching right now are partnered. This is a beautiful opportunity to create romance in your life, or to take romance, including sensuality, to the next level. And I want to distinguish sensuality between sexuality, okay? And there's nothing wrong with either of them. But the major difference, or the greatest distinction between, say, sensual and sexual, is what it allows to the body, what process, what parts of our minds, hearts, and souls are engaged in this. So when we're talking about sensuality, of course, we're looking at preliminary excitement. We're looking at the butterflies at speaking with your partner or potential partner, or even the thoughts of having a partner, or the thoughts of having romantic interaction. You know, daydreaming, for example, is, especially about romance, is a type of sensuality. You're creating a narrative by which you can play out this type of dream work, or this type of fantasy with another individual. Or certainly if you're not partnered, you can absolutely still experience this. This is just all about an energy, okay? It's the idea, the concept, it's the thrill, it's the, as I mentioned, the butterflies. It's even a type of readiness. This could include, romance has to include the mental and emotional and psychological and the physical, right? It's sort of, romance includes all aspects of ourselves, and ultimately there has to be a sense of vulnerability here as well, right? Even if it's at the flirting stage, even if it's at the sensual sort of daydreaming stage, there is this sense of, you know, you have to prepare for vulnerability here, but it's working on both sides, right? So you are sort of safe in that, and this is beautiful about romance, is that, or sensuality as it were, is that both people are essentially both partners are essentially vulnerable in this moment, okay? They're revealing a lot about themselves in this moment, particularly around fantasies or the expression of romance, as it were. So again, you may be learning more about a partner if you're already partnered this week. Certainly if you've been waiting for that special moment to, you know, introduce or to develop a new phase in your romantic relationship, this would be a beautiful week to do that. It appears as though it'll be well received. And certainly if you're not partnered, take heart. This is a frame of mind here. This is creating sensuality in your own life for the sake of beauty. Remember that beauty is a meta truth, right? And if you allow this, and this touches, and here we have the arts as your probable outcomes. So, I mean, I'm goosebumpy just looking at this. We have this level of meta-truth, which is really enormous. I mean, this throws people off their rocker, right? A lot of people can't handle the truth. It's just the way it is, until we can be humble to it. But this is expressive truth. This is you saying, you know what? Even if it undoes me, even if it upsets the way people see me, and, you know, regarding reputation, or it upsets my own worldview, which is a very courageous way to go about manifesting and accepting romance and sexuality, and of course, meta-truths into your own everyday life. It's saying, you know what, I'm humble to this. This is truth, and now I understand that, and I'm going to behave this way. So it's actually an exceptionally beautiful way to go about the world, frankly, here, Cancer. So it's very exciting and very expressive, obviously. Because of the energy it creates. It's just a gorgeous energy. Here with Serenity being in your influence to the current position is this sense of calm. This is where I'm seeing you having come to terms with something here, okay? And it's like a pure acceptance. And it probably happened in a flash, okay? There was probably this sense where you're just like, you know what, that's the way it is. And I accept it. And you don't let your ego get involved, and you don't let your worldview get involved. And this is primarily what's happening with people who are developing anyway. Change is uncomfortable because, you know, it's so... we put so much of ourselves into what we've created, okay? And then we build an identity around this creation. But if it's not true, or it's not built on truth, then it's supposed to fall apart. So here's where I'm seeing you having come to terms with it, or you coming to terms with it throughout the week, this sense of calm around, you know what, it's true. This is a truth. And I can deny it and live in ignorance of it, or I can accept it and be free. And this is your freedom, okay? This is, I mean, we can even see the way that the icon is behaving in the card. She's calm, she's still, she's really, really feeling these flowers. She's really accepting this reality that this is all there is, right? It's nature. It's... nature is a meta-truth, for example, right? You know, Mother Earth is a meta-truth. So, I mean, it's just an acceptance here. And ultimately, that acceptance, whether you're expressing it with another individual or not, ultimately, and like I said earlier, there is a sense of vulnerability here. But that's playing out as a strength for you. So, again, just like beauty with a capital B here. I'm delighted for you with your probable outcome being music. Now, I always read music as an arts card, okay? Just an artistic expression. Yes, of course, this can be limited to music depending on my Cancerians watching. If you happen to be a musician, if you're recording, if music plays an enormous part of your week with regard to the development of the sensual self, or with regard to meta-truths, you could be listening to composers who were ahead of their time, for example, and who theorized ahead of their times, or, past or present. I mean, there are rap artists, for heaven's sake, who spit truth in their rap music, for example, that, I mean, it's undeniable what they're saying, and anything in between. So not limited to music, but yes, it could be depending on what you're moving through this week. But remember music as an arts card. We're looking at expression, and this is something that's unique to you. If this is a way that you talk or emulate something, or bring something unique to a truth-telling situation or an educational position here, this is going to play out very strongly for you, especially by the end of the week. And again, not limited to what we consider professional arts, right? Of course, this could be music and drafting and woodworking, and it could be painting and sculpting, and of course, other expressions of art. But let's remember that the sciences, the sciences can be an art. Okay, becoming a surgeon is an art. Becoming a stylist, right? A textile stylist or a makeup artist, for example. These are artistic expressions. It's just, the point being this week is that you're involving meta-truths within your output. This is easily being outputted for you. So people will be interested in what you're outputting here. Here's the caveat, Cancer, with your friendship card being general energy, of course, for all the other cards here. This is an interesting theme, but not unexpected. And let me explain. Once there are meta-truths available to our peer groups, and once we are able to override the ego in expressing them, we will upset people. At least one person will be unavailable to you. Now, is this permanent? That remains to be seen. Is it because you're being mean and telling lies and tricking someone? Absolutely not. This is the difference between friendships changing or even ending temporarily or permanently through the fault of low vibration or the process of high vibration. You cannot be held accountable to anyone else for evolving. This is not your fault for evolving. Someone who feels let down by you evolving has to consider that themselves and has to work through that themselves. Okay, you're not responsible for how someone else feels about meta truths. The point here is absolutely stay kind. You don't need to be mean about it. You don't need to even tell someone else to kill the ego in order to accept meta truths here. This is going to happen probably through an organic process. Okay, this person will just probably stay clear from you or have one last thing to say to you, but it's not about you as an individual. It's about this inability to accept what you are conveying here, okay, through your creative expression. So my suggestion here with regard to that is to let them go. You don't need to fight over this. There's nothing to be sorry for. You can even say, you know, when I'm always here. If you want the friendship to continue, obviously, you can always say, you know, I'm always here, or I mean no harm. So depending on the level of the friendship here, you can sort of put it out there that you're available. But if it's something that's organically meant to go to the wayside, maybe it's just time to let it go. Here with Thinker being one of your outcome cards, absolutely. I mean, you have to come to terms with what you are about to convey or what you are in process of conveying. And this does take an enormous amount of mental work. Absolutely. I mean, in order to get past some of the untruths and flat out lies that we've been shown and taught throughout our lives, culturally, with regard to meta truths, it's absolutely essential for an individual to process what you are beginning to learn and understand and now about to emit or project or to express by virtue of having thought about it. This is why the meta truth stands, it's a standalone, right? This is why you can't be accused this week, for example, of having an opinion about such things. This is why the meta truth speaks for itself. And even if, and it could happen, even if someone takes it personally and puts that discomfort on you, you can, even if you're not having a conversation with that person or they, you know, shut you out for whatever reason, rest assured that it's less about you than it is about the actual truth, okay? That the truth makes them uncomfortable, not you. And here with Dog, this is loyalty. This is where we're looking at really staying true to yourself, to your understanding of meta truths, to the point being that the beauty, that the mathematic speaks for itself, and you are but a messenger, and your loyalty to the truth and to expressing the truth, as it were, as an organic being, as unfettered, right? It's something that cannot be changed. It's just the way it is. Even if that upsets someone else, you're loyal to it. And this speaks volume for your sense of courage this week, Cancer. So I'm just delighted for you. This looks like a very, and like I said, if it's an explosive week, even if it's upsetting on some level here, or if it feels like there could be some type of loss involved, just rest assured that it's for the highest good here, because this is about development, okay? Something that is supposed to fall to the wayside is doing so organically. You're not pushing someone away here, but the truth could make someone uncomfortable, and that is what could be pushing them away. It might even be temporary. Let them be, okay? But stay in pursuit of this. Keep your faculties here. Stay bright. Stay looking forward. Stay loyal to the truth. If there's any upset here between truth and, of course, you know, your identity, you're still struggling with that, just make sure you know which one you're serving, okay? You don't want to serve ego. You want to serve beauty, as it were, here with romance, with expression, with a sense of serenity, with a sense of honesty, and, you know, the facts being the facts. So that is your reading for the week. If you have a second, please let me know how it works out for you. I'm always curious. And if you're not already, subscribe to my channel because I upload videos for your sign every single week. So until we meet next time, Cancer, take excellent care. Bye for now.